access pipeline in North Dakota have come to an end. Construction on the pipeline is going forward after President Trump intervened in January. Now it's almost finished. Oil could start flowing in the coming weeks. But the Dakota Access Pipeline battle at the Standing Rock Reservation has energized others. NPR's Jeff Brady is here to tell us more about pipeline protests around the country. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Ari.
Have pipelines in general become more controversial lately?
They have, and it's because of a strategy that's really led by environmental groups, and their goal is to keep fossil fuels in the ground. Now, in the past, those groups, they encourage people to use less oil, drive smaller cars, walk more, that sort of thing, but that didn't work out very well, so they came up with this new strategy, and I think the Keystone XL pipeline, you probably remember that from a couple of years ago, it's a really good example of it. This is a pipeline that would have transported crude oil from Canada's oil sands down to the Gulf Coast. Opponents succeeded in delaying construction of the Keystone XL, and ultimately President Obama blocked the project. President Trump says he wants the pipeline now, but the economics have completely changed. Oil prices are half of what they were just a few years ago. So recently we see ExxonMobil and Shell decide that it's not profitable to open up new oil sands projects in Canada. Those fossil fuels, they're going to stay in the ground and score one for those environmental groups.
So these environmentalists have adopted a new strategy of protesting pipelines. With so many different pipelines being built, how do the opponents decide which ones to target for protests?
At first, they just looked at the ones where they were most likely to succeed, like the Keystone XL. But now we're seeing campaigns pop up all over the place, even in Texas and Louisiana. And those are two big oil-producing states. We thought we'd take a look at a couple of these places. First, we have a report from our colleague Marie Cusick from WITF in Harrisburg and State Impact, Pennsylvania. She recently visited a protest site in the central part of the state.
Amidst the rolling farm fields of Pennsylvania Amish country, protesters are settling in for the long haul. They've built two tall wooden structures that look sort of like tree houses without the tree. Mark Clatterbuck is one of the activists leading the charge against the Atlantic Sunrise, a newly approved $3 billion pipeline. Once built, it will move natural gas southward through Pennsylvania.
So right behind us is this old historic tobacco barn that we're using as kind of the base of operations. That's where we're storing food donations as well as supplies, camping supplies, tarps.
The landowners here refused to make a deal with the pipeline company. Now part of their farm may be taken through eminent domain. That's why they've welcomed in dozens of protesters who've set up camp in a cornfield. The site has a food truck, a large military tent, and portable toilets.
We're running electric and we'll run cable here, so we have internet as well.
He and others here took part in the Standing Rock protest in North Dakota. They've taken lessons from that experience and are rehearsing nonviolent direct action scenarios. Molly Wallace says she's probably too much of a wuss to stay out in a tent overnight, but she wants to make her voice heard.
Yeah, I'm willing to get arrested. It's a cause worth getting arrested for.
The cause encompasses a long list of concerns about the pipeline, including its implications for climate change, the seizure of private property, and questions over whether there's really a public need for all of this gas, since some of it will be exported. Chris Stockton is a spokesman for Williams, the company behind the Atlantic Sunrise project.
We've actually made modifications to more than half of the route, trying to accommodate folks the best we can, but certainly there's always going to be opposition.
President Donald Trump is viewed as friendly to the oil and gas industry. But Williams CEO Alan Armstrong warned his colleagues at a conference this year that they shouldn't get too complacent.